Hello. What is your take on Voodoo Doughnuts? The local hipster, trendy, tourist trap donut shop? Well, in all honesty, their donuts are delicious. Mind you, I like pretty much any kind of donut out there, even the sort you get at the supermarket. But nevertheless, I mean, they're magnificent. They're kind of expensive, of course, but they're still very good. I suppose my one criticism is that whereas I may well love the donuts, I don't necessarily like the people you generally have to stand in line with in order to get the donuts. That's kind of a price to have to pay in and of itself. Do you have any enemies? No, I do not have any enemies. I only have those who have made of themselves my enemy. Only those who have chosen to call themselves my enemy. And they do not amount to very much. Do you have any advice for anyone who has been canceled? I see that you put this in quotation marks, signifying that you mean the current white, woke, nonsensical application of this term and the practice behind it. No, I have no advice for you. On the contrary, I do have concise, direct, to the point insight about the entire miasma. Might come as a huge surprise to you. Did you happen to know that the only individual under God who can cancel you is you? Did you know that? That the only individual who has the ability, who has the power to cancel you is you yourself. If you have done nothing wrong, and yet your group of peers, your circle of friends, your community in general decides to expel you, to exclude you, to banish you, well then come to find they weren't really your peers or your friends or your community at all. So what have you really lost? On the other hand, if you have done something wrong, if you have done something egregious, if you committed some trespass, the action is yours. Therefore, the responsibility for that action is likewise yours. So when these people are compelled to expel you, to exclude you, to blackball you, to banish you, to ostracize you, it is because of your action. So going full circle, it is you who have canceled yourself. In the end, in either scenario, whether you're attempting to preserve your significance in this world or to acknowledge some misconduct, either way, no one has the power to erase you except for yourself. In the end, only you can cancel yourself. Don't you think the president is too old to be in office? You mean the actual, authentic, genuine president you have in office right now? No, of course not. No. Not only is he not too old to be in office, frankly, I believe he ought to have been able to go on to campaign for that second term. I understand why he cannot and why he must not, why it is imperative that the vice president run instead. I fully comprehend that. But personally, I had no compunctions at all with him remaining in office and going on to seek and then to serve that second term. Boys and girls, throughout the ages, whether you're talking about popes, presidents, or premiers, there is no end to how many heads of state there have been who have been tremendously advanced in years and yet still managed to retain their office and station and position. You've got Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Eamon de Valera, Deng Xiaoping of China. There's the most sterling example in this particular subject. The late Commandant Lassard of the Metropolitan Police Academy.
Class of 88.
They actually waived mandatory retirement age in his case.
The governor and I wish that Eric Lassard continue as commandant of this academy until such time as he sees fit to retire himself.
They made an exception just for him, and he went on to serve in the office of the commandant for decades. When he did pass away, at the age of 98, coincidentally, ironically, and really rather fittingly, who was the next in line of succession to assume that office? None other than
Captain Harris.
Police Captain Harris. Hello, I was the one who asked you about seeing you roller skate past our house. So now my husband wants to know, didn't he used to see you throwing bottles off your balcony in the middle of the night? He's always wondered why you were doing that. So here again you have someone who wants to roll back the clock a little bit. All right. I can oblige you and your curiosity. Yes, that was me. The house prior to this, my office comprised the entire second floor, and affixed to it was this little balcony, and that balcony overlooked a vacant lot, strewn with overgrown weeds, directly next door. The household at the time was comprised of very unhappy, very joyless, very disheartened individuals. It was a troubled, stressful, tiresome, tedious interval. And at times, during those long weekends, I would retire to the sanctuary, to the haven of my office. From Friday to Sunday, I had my music and I had my libation in the form of fortified wine, Thunderbird, Night Train, Wild Irish Rose, MD 2020. I had my music and I had my beverage, and they offered me such solace and solidarity in my solitude. And some nights, amidst all that upheaval, in the middle of the night, in moments of despair and yet survivalistic instinct, I would take a pen and a piece of paper and I would write a note. SOS. Our ship is foundering. This crew is on the verge of mutiny. Please send help. Requesting assistance immediately. Then I would roll up the note and I would put it in one of those empty bottles. Put the bottle cap in place and take it out onto that balcony. And then I would toss it overboard into the ocean of the night. A message in the bottle requesting help. I must have done that the better part of a dozen times. Yes, that was me. And you know, no one ever did come to our rescue.